Barbers, if you're struggling to get more clients in your chair, it's not because you're not good enough at cutting hair, it's because your marketing isn't working for you.
If you're relying on just posting haircuts and hoping that clients are going to show up, you're leaving so much money on the table.
So the big question is, how do you stand out in a crowded market and attract high-paying clients consistently?
Today, we're going to be breaking down our top 5 marketing strategies to help you stand out, get more clients, and become the go-to barber in your area.
Using content from the unlimited model.
So strategy number 1 is to become the local hero.
When I first started in Fermoy, County Cork, small town, 6,000 people, 7,000 people, and I first started cutting hair, I knew that it was super important for me to utilize and leverage the people that I knew when I first started cutting hair. I started with family members and then I cut their hair for free to practice, essentially. And same thing with friends. And I took content of it. I posted it on my social media and then it started to grow organically. From there, I charged nothing at the start. It was like a free haircut to begin with because I was needing the practice. And then it slowly, incrementally just built up to becoming the most expensive barber in my town. When I say slowly, I don't really mean slowly because it got there quite quickly, actually, in the grand scheme of things. A lot of the time, really, barbers are looking for new clients or new people to sit in their chair, people that they don't know. But the most effective and efficient thing that people can do, especially as they're growing their client base from the start, is to start by targeting the people that you know. A lot of the time, it's not about getting new clients, right? It's just about doing a better job with the clients that you have. So becoming the local hero and the person that everybody knows in your town or in your local area. When somebody says hair or men's hair or barbering, you want to be the person that comes to mind. And when you realize that not a lot of people put a lot of effort into this, it's very easy for you to become that standout person.
In any business model or any business that you choose to get into, your first few clients are going to be people that you know. And I don't think that's something to be ignored. For me, I started doing hair before social media was even a thing. So I just immediately reached out to family and friends. Let's just get the ball rolling with family and friends. And you'd be amazed at the butterfly effect of that. And then that slowly grew. So in the city that I lived in, we had a university and the university had an arts part to the university. So I just went in there, put up some flyers. One guy saw the flyer, came in and got a haircut. Little did I know, he was a model for Abercrombie and Fitch. He started to tell all of his friends, oh, hey, when you're in the area, you need to go and see Lee. You need to go and see Lee. And all of a sudden, the butterfly effect of just using the people that were in my area already grew a clientele for me without using any social media or anything else. What is that speaking to? It's speaking to the power of building relationships. And it's something that I've observed in your life and your career. I think you've done really, really well, is to act the skill of building relationships. And it's something that's getting lost today. I really think it's a skill that's getting lost because everybody's glued to their screens. It's good. It's okay. But we cannot lose the human connection part of business, because think about barbering, think about the service that we deliver in the way in which it's delivered, right? It's a geographically locked business model. You have a business model which is implanted within an area, within an ecosystem and a society that already exists. And that relies on the people in the area to begin with to spend their money on your products and services at that business. So a very powerful tool that we just can't ignore in 2025 and moving forward is the power of, like we said at the start, become the local hero and harness relationships. Become the person that's known. Know the coffee shop owner by name. Know the owner of the best restaurant in town by name. The guy at the post office, the guy at the shop. Know these people by name because they're going to be your best friends at the beginning of business.
Yeah,
they're going to send you everybody they know because what are they looking for? They're looking for quality people as well because they know what it takes to create a well-known business too. Very, very powerful stuff.
And if you look around your local area, every single person watching this video or listening to this clip will be able to think about and identify somebody else in your locality in a different style of business who everybody knows. So it could be the guy who owns the local coffee shop. It could be the guy who owns the restaurant. And what does that person do? They nurture and foster relationships within the community. So they're going around to people when they're at their cafes, they're touching base, they're saying, how are you doing? Is everybody doing okay? Anything I can do for you? And it's that personal touch that goes a long way. And yeah, like you said, we are losing it. So I think in 2025, we have an opportunity for us to bring a little bit of that back. We're going into a world of technology and a digital age. As we were talking about this morning, there's 2 things that are going to stand the test of time, right? There's going to be AI. AI is obviously coming in and taking over, but also personal brand. And a big part of personal brand is the person. It's about the person in it, because the local hero, the coffee shop owner, has a personal brand. It doesn't mean he needs to be on Instagram, because everybody in that local area is going to be buying his products, buying his services. You become that go-to person. We're humans of habit, right? We have habits and we just go back to the same thing again and again once we get a good experience. And that to me is more important than anything else, especially for a geographically locked location like a barbershop, like a hair salon. My mother was really good at this. She was amazing at it. She was the local hero when it came to hairdressing in Fermoy, and that's where I probably learned it from. So thanks, Mom.
Yeah, thanks, Mairead.
Thanks, Mairead.
And let's just talk about, like, all businesses need people, right? And I know it sounds obvious, but all businesses need people. Just relying on social media is not always the best idea, because you could be the global hero online, but it doesn't always mean that those people are going to sit in your chair in your local area. So our advice is to do both. Don't ignore communication. Don't ignore being social. That's the funny thing about social media as well. The first word is social. And so let's use that in our real life as well. Let's be a bit more social and develop relationships. We just can't ignore that. Like I said, all great businesses need people. And the only issue I find with social media is like, we see, oh yeah, I've got loads of views and loads of people see it, loads of people follow me. Yeah, but it's not real. It's a replica of what's real. It's very close, very, very close, but it's still not real. It's a digital replica of what's real. That's where my mindset kind of sits on it. Please don't ignore becoming the local hero. If you can become local and the global, I think you've got an absolute recipe for success. But what's this all speaking to is speaking to trust. Most humans want trust before they actually buy a product or service. If I go to you, like, I trust your opinion on a lot of things. So if I say, hey, Owen, where do I get a good coffee? And you say, hey, go to this shop. Of course I'm going to go get it. Why? Because I trust your opinion. And that is the magic of becoming a local hero. Because imagine this, you're a barber in your hometown. Nobody knows who you are. You think it's going to be easy to trust you? No, because people are going to go, why does nobody know that guy? What's his story? And it doesn't mean that they're not going to buy. It's just going to take them longer to buy, because they've got to then learn to trust you. And then you've got to pray that they see your content, pray that somehow they get to know you, pray that they trust you, and then hopefully they become a loyal dream client.
Hope isn't a good strategy.
Hope is not a good strategy.
I think where I see most local heroes go wrong, and where I've seen you go wrong as well, is sometimes treating the business a little bit more like a charity than a business, because that's where the local hero can fall into a trap. You don't want to become the local hero at your own expense, right? Like, you still have to run it as a business, and that's where the respected part comes in. So you have to have enough respect for yourself to run it like a business, so that you can keep serving the community and you guys can all grow together. Because some people will hear that, they'll hear the local hero thing, and the evangelist will come out, and the person who wants to save the world will come out, and you'll start doing free haircuts and doing all of this stuff for the community. But really, if that means that you'll eventually have to shut your business down, then that's not actually becoming the local hero at all. Oh. You're becoming the villain in your own story. So don't do that.
Yeah. Don't become the local hero by giving discounts. Become the local hero by becoming the trusted person who has integrity, does what they say they can do, delivers a great service, a great experience, just a sound person, nice to get along with, and runs a respectable business.
So strategy number 2 is to create content that converts.
Not content that is designed just to impress people.
So one thing that I see a lot of online at the moment and through the years is people just posting pictures of haircuts, and that's just showcasing their product, right? And you touched beautifully on something a minute ago in the video, saying that, like, it's social media, right? And the way we were talking about the local hero, what you essentially want to do is you want to capture the essence of your business and what works in real life, and just do your best possible job at encapsulating that and putting it online. So, like, I would think about it from a standpoint of a cafe. And yes, barbers, you can learn a lot from other people's businesses. Just observe what they do well, and what brings people to their doors, especially businesses that actually work and are successful. Because a lot of the time people will just copy what other businesses are doing, but not actually put it through the filter of, does this actually work for this person, and are they successful at doing it? But I just think about, like, there's a coffee shop in Sydney. I'm going to use it as an example. That coffee shop, Eccentric in Maroubra, who operate it like a well-oiled machine, and they give out the brownie, and it just has all of the touch points, right? Like, if I was ever in the area, I'm 100% going there to get a coffee. That's just a given. But what they do well is they have a bit of a vibe. When you go there, you feel the essence of the business. Now, if they were able to encapsulate that and put it on social media by having a good strategy, understanding what their brand and their values and their core values are about, like what we do essentially with the guys in the mentorship program through the unlimited model, is we get a really clear purpose for them. We help them with their values, and then we find a way to communicate that then through our social media. And that's content that converts, because when you compete on product, which is just a coffee, or in our case, what we're talking about here is a haircut, you just become the commodity. You're just in a commodity market because everyone's competing on product. Like, there is no value to a client to go on your page and just see a bunch of haircuts. It doesn't matter, because a client doesn't know the difference between a good 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 haircut from a professional standpoint and a 7 or 6 out of 10 haircut, maybe even less, because some clients will show us some stuff that is absolute horseshit and think that it's the best thing in the world. For example, the Peaky Blinders haircut. You arguably don't even have to go to a barbershop to get that done. Your mate could do it for you. So like, what is going to be the thing that actually converts and brings people to you? It's your purpose, it's your mission, it's your values. It's the feeling that people get when they experience you and your page through social media. And that's attractive. Is your business attractive? Are you putting yourself in a position where you're going to be a magnet and you're going to attract the right people, not just everybody? And that's another mistake of the barbershop in general, is just thinking that it's for everyone. But are you positioning yourself where it's attractive enough that people will be coming to you? Not just anybody, but the right people. When it comes to creating content that converts, it's directing it at a specific person, a type of person who enjoys a certain thing, getting yourself on it. We'll talk about that in one of the next points. But really just creating content that's building a brand, not just putting your products online and hoping people are just going to come and buy them.
Something that I teach our guys quite a lot is to keep your content as real as possible, because most people associate with authenticity, not perfection. So these hyper curated content and the hyper aesthetic feeds and stuff like that is lovely. It's great as like an art piece, but it's not always relatable. I know for sure that I'm going to buy from someone so much faster if I just think they're being their real authentic self. And why is that? Well, Seth Godin explains it beautifully in his book, This Is Marketing. He says, what we want people to think is like, aha, these are people like me who do things like this. And that's what we are really trying to get people to think, is like, can we? Because remember, like I said, social media is a digital replica of what's real. So can we find a way to make our content and what people see of us as real as possible and as authentic as possible, so that people can relate to it and think, oh, people like me that do things like this. Cool. There's people like me that get haircuts like that. I'm going to go get one of them. Because again, what are we doing? We want to fire people down the trust funnel as fast as possible. We really want our dream clients and our dream prospects to trust us as fast as humanly possible. And if your feed is just a bunch of haircuts, it's great, like to have a portfolio of immaculate haircuts. Brilliant. But if a person jumps on your profile and that's all they see and they don't know who's doing them, it's hard to trust them, because like, oh, I don't really know like who I'm going to, who I'm booking. It might take them 5, 6, 10, 15, 20 times to go onto your page to eventually book something. This like the mystique of who you are is actually a block from someone buying your products and services. So that's my advice when you're trying to make content for social media, and specifically content that converts, is keep it as real as possible. Because like I said, humans relate to authenticity more than they relate to perfectionism. There's always going to be a small amount of people that relate to perfectionism, but that reveals more of a trauma pattern than it does a buying pattern. The majority of people, and especially if I think to myself, my dream clients, I want real, authentic people in my chair. And if I can attract them into that, fantastic. What does that look like? Like you were speaking about. Number one piece of advice is get more of you on your profile. Get more of you on there, not just the product, because the product's just an extension of you. We can hide behind the product really easily. Get yourself on your content and then find a way and make useful content. That's something that I'm helping a lot of people with right now. Something that's really terrifying right now is I get so many DMs on a daily basis of like, how do I make content for consumers? How do I make content for my dream clients? I'm like, exactly. That's the terrifying thing. What we've seen over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years is barbers making content for other barbers, which is fine if you're an educator, but 90% of the barbering industry aren't educators. They are trying to sell their products and services to consumers who are the general population, and they need content for them. And the one line that I give people, somebody actually DM'd me this yesterday, So how do I make content for my dream clients and consumers? I said, make content that's useful for them. And you do what you will with that. That opens up a big space to operate in. But if you're creating stuff that's useful for your dream client, your dream prospect, I guarantee you're going to have a lineup of people at the door.
So yeah, stop making content that is looking for validation from other barbers and other professionals. They don't pay your bills. Don't worry about it. That's not going to convert unless you plan on going down the educational route. And I think that's where a lot of people get confused in the industry currently as well, is, you know, a lot of the influence that comes from the top comes from people like ourselves and others who have gone down the road of education, but it confuses the people who are boots on the streets, geographically locked, and have their own barbershop, because they start making content the same because they think that that's what you have to do to be successful. It's not. Yeah. You have to speak to the people in your area, speak to the people that come and sit in your chair, and make content that's useful and helpful for them.
Yeah, useful and helpful. And the strategy that I give people, what will make you successful is to model, not copy. Whenever you're looking at someone of influence, oh, this barber, or that person, or even us, model what we do, model the strategy, don't copy the content. That's where people are not going to be successful, and their content's not going to convert dream clients to them, and especially if you want high paying clients. So what do I mean by model? Model the strategy and look at the video, think, okay, who was their target audience and how did they direct this piece of content to them? And that's exactly what we help people with in the Unlimited Barber coaching space is we really go deep on the nuts and bolts of like modeling strategy. What's the strategy? How do we get this piece of content to convert? So if there was two pieces of advice I would give you is make useful content for your dream client and model strategy. Don't just copy the content.
I think that leads nicely into strategy number 3. So strategy number 3 is making sure that you can be found. And what do we mean by that? So there's creating the content that converts, which is the attraction piece, which brings people into your world. But then when they come into your world, can they find what they need to find, and can they find it concisely? So we recently ran a training called Pimp My Profile. If you want it, comment pimp below and we'll send it to you. We won't pimp you out, but we'll send it to you. Business and sales and marketing is a lot more like dating than people realize. You know, if you were creating a Tinder profile for yourself and you were trying to attract a life partner, you'd put your best foot forward, right? You'd put your best qualities, your best photos of you at the very front, because in that world, you have 3 to 5 seconds before somebody makes a decision. And the same thing happens when somebody lands on your profile. 3 to 5 seconds to make a decision. So that's Instagram profile, that's important, but also Google. Make sure that you've optimized your SEO, which is search engine optimization, keywords, making sure that you can be found on those platforms and doing all that you can to be found there. Because one thing we used to ask a lot of clients that came to the barbershop was, where did you come from? How did you find us? And kind of what made you come here? Right. And we used to get a lot of feedback from the chair as to like where people were finding us. And Google was a massive one. Instagram and TikTok and places like that is now a massive one for our clients. We're seeing that a lot. It's just making sure that your profile is optimized in a certain way so that when people come into your world, it's easy for them to go where you want them to go and to find what they want to find. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Lee?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, it's a fairly quick topic, right? But the whole essence of it and the whole idea of it is, yeah, just make sure it's easy for people to find you. If we look at any great businesses in Silicon Valley right now, or any of the places, all the businesses that are doing the greatest things, they're all looking at how can they make the process easy for the consumer. And that's really what we bring into our coaching and barbering, and what we've found works amazing with our businesses over the past and for all of our clients' businesses is the easier you are to find, the easier it is for people to do business with you, and the more likely they're going to do business with you. And that scares some people, you know. And I think the mystique and the mysterious card, it's going to be a block. Like it's one step extra that the consumer has to do to try and buy your products and services. And like our great coaches teach us, and you know, we've rubbed shoulders with some incredible business people in the world, and they all say if the moment you have to make the consumer think is a moment you could potentially lose them. We don't want to make the consumer think too much, because they've got options, right? And if there's another system or another profile that's easier, they're probably just going to buy from them. You know, the world is built around convenience. We are convenience machines. We're efficient by design. And I think that's kind of the key words there. Make it easy, make it efficient, make the process simple, and just make sure you could be found. Like Owen said, optimize on Google, optimize your name on social media, whatever platforms you use your real name so people can find you. Maybe use words like Barber in your profile. I know it might not be cool enough for some people, but it's looking at these pages as business tools, not validation tools. Okay, if you want a validation tool, create a separate profile. Just go create a different one. But for your business, you want it to be as easy and as optimized and as searchable and findable as possible.
Yeah. So think about, where do most of your dream clients spend their time? What are they searching for when they're looking, and how can you optimize so that you get found in your local area? So if you want some extra resources on that, happy to pass them over. Like we said, just comment the word pimp below and we'll send you the free training, which will help you to optimize your Instagram profile so that you know exactly what to put on it to convert more clients to sit in your chair. So strategy number 4 is a very old school one. It's called social proof. So when people land on your profile as a barber, they're going to be looking for proof and evidence that you are who you say you are. And who are they going to be looking for the social proof from? People, other people. Not just you, because anybody can say that they're the best barber in the world. Anyone can say that I'm amazing at cutting hair, come and sit in my chair. And then you look at their stuff and it's absolute dog shit. Anyone can say it, but it's about what are others saying about you. So you can do it in the form of testimonials, client results. Try and keep this as real and raw as possible, because there's a trend that's been going around for the last few years where, people are coming in, sitting in the chair, and it's almost like this kind of like strangle on the client to be like, what do you think about me and my haircuts? Please say that it's good. If you have a good enough product, it does the talking for you. If you just smash it with like the product and the service, and that's like an impeccable process for your clients from start to finish, for your dream clients from start to finish, they'll do all of that work for you. But like we were saying on the last piece, when it comes to making sure that you can be found, make sure some results can be found too. Make sure proof and evidence can be found as well. Because that's what it's all about, especially if you want to start going down the line of education, coaching, like we're doing. You need proof, you need evidence so that you can show your clients, this is who I am and this is what I'm about. This is my experience and these are my best products. At some point in time, whether you believe it or not, you're going to have to raise your prices. It's the only way to keep growing your business in the modern world. Unless inflation starts to deflate, then we can start going backwards. But I'm yet to kind of come across that ever happening. We don't go backwards, it only goes forwards. So in order for us to raise our prices without friction, because that's what this is all about. The last piece is about that too. Remove as much friction from the process as possible. We can do that. We can engineer a frictionless experience just by knowing what to do. So we want to remove as much friction as possible, especially when it comes to raising your prices, because that can be kind of a friction topic for a lot of people, especially the ones who are doing the raising of the prices, right? It can create friction in a business. But if you have proof and evidence that I am who I say I am, and a lot of people don't do themselves enough justice. There's a lot of people with amazing skill sets, us included, in what we're currently doing. But like, there's a lot of people out there, amazing skill sets, have done amazing things, are doing amazing haircuts every day of the week, but the social proof and evidence just isn't there. And another great way of getting this out to the world is real-time social proof, not manufactured, real-time. I think one thing that we smashed back in the day was stories. But real-time stories, we're seeing it a lot now. People will put up their haircuts, but they'll do it all at once at the end of the day. I honestly think like the real-time like live stream of your stories, like being dripped out throughout the day, was just magic. Like there was a time when we would post haircuts the before and post it whilst we were doing the haircut, and people would be waiting to see what the end result was going to be. Especially for a local barbershop. Like I used to do it on Snapchat back in the day when I first started. For a local barbershop, that is just, it's magic, because people's friends are going to be waiting for the end results. Like what kind of haircut is he getting? What's coming next? Like, and what does that do? It brings evidence and proof and social proof that you can do it in real time. It's not manufactured. It's not like you've done 20 haircuts that day and you're just posting your best 2. What about the other 18? So I think the more you can show up with that, then you can pin them to your profile with highlights, and you can just have all of your best stuff there so people can binge you. They can just binge your stuff. I think it's magic, and it's been left out of the modern day game. I don't see it as much anymore, but that's one thing that really worked well for us, I think, back in the day. Yeah. Not only for clients, but it helped us with the educational world too, because barbers then started looking at us and saying, fucking hell, you're able to do that in like 30 minutes or 40 minutes and film it and get a good thing. It's like, it's real time. It's not, you know, Photoshop edited, nice lighting. Everything these days is a trust thing. And we're in a trust pandemic. And I think we need to go backwards a little bit so that we can go even further forwards.
Yeah. Something I think that's really just going to absolutely help every single barber make more money immediately is just to become undeniable. And that is what social proof does. Can we just become undeniable? Like, I remember when I was in the barbershop and we would always ask these questions to our clients, like, how did you find me? So how did you choose me? Like, why me? All that kind of stuff. And 9 times out of 10, they would say, I found the shop on Google. I typed in best barbershop in Melbourne. They would find the studio that we were at. And then they said, I went onto your booking system and you had the most 5-star ratings. And they were like, so I booked you. I was like, amazing. I heard that time and time and time again. They were like, you just had loads of 5-star ratings. Boom. And then when the social media profile was linked to that, they're like, jumped on your social media profile. You could clearly deliver the product that was after. A little bit about you, a little bit of social proof about this and that, the other. You do great haircuts, nice photography. It was just a no-brainer. It was literally undeniable.
And if somebody lands on your page on that day after they book the appointment and that little red circle comes up and you're active,
real time.
If it's real time, they're going to be loving it. And they're
Yep.
going to be like, I made the right decision here. Before they even come and sit in the chair, they're saying, I've made the right decision. So when they come in, they already know what to expect. They've seen your work. The trust is built. You've done a lot of the heavy lifting. You know, I see a lot of barbers just struggle, man. Like, I see them struggle so much with like the client relationship and like trying to convince new clients that they're good at what they do. You don't have to do that in person. You can do it before they come to the chair.
Yep.
You can do it literally before they come to the chair. You have all the tools at your fingertips. You spend all of your time on the damn things anyway. Just use them. You know? That's where I was thinking about it when I first started cutting. And it just made, like, I was shit at cutting hair. I was absolutely dog shit. In the grand scheme of things, I was terrible at it.
You weren't that bad.
I wasn't that bad.
You weren't that bad.
But at the beginning, at the very beginning, I wasn't great.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't great. But it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. Like, people didn't care. They thought I was great because how active I was.
Yeah.
And like, you want to be making sure that you're open for business. You know, a lot of the time people don't even know if you're open for business, because if your last post was 2 weeks ago and your little circle on your story is grey, people are going to be like, what's going on? Are they mentally well? Like, that's kind of where I go with it now.
Yeah.
It's like, if someone's not active for some time, I'm thinking, damn, do they need a break from social media or something? That's not the barber I want to go to. Or are they just so busy that they can't post? That could be another angle as well. But
then there's another issue. But yeah, I love where you went with that. It's like in 2025, I think even more so, it's even more true today that it's not even about how good you are. You know, you could be good or you might not be good. That really doesn't matter. It's no matter how good you are, you have to actively be telling people how good you are. And that is half the battle. And like I was explaining to that process earlier, when someone comes to your page and they jump on and they've found you through Google, they found the 5-star reviews, they jump on the page, can clearly deliver the product. They jump into the stories and they're like, whoa, real-time results? Like, this dude is just active. What does that do? It then puts the Seth Godin effect on it of like, oh, there's people like me doing things like that. They immediately relate to it. They immediately relate and think, I want to be one of those people. Boom. Let me spend my money with this person. And that's the magic of it. Keeping all those touch points flowing. It's like a content flywheel where it all links together. And if you do that, you know, it doesn't even have to be every day, but the days that you're in work, it's going to be magic.
that's exactly it. It's all about building that trust. It's all about going down the trust funnel. And we're in the territory of now of pay before you play. Like, these people will spend their money before they even come and sit in your chair.
Yeah.
Like, they're already sold. You don't have to sell them anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's magic. And if you can do that, and you can get other people to do it for you, if you can create a raving fan culture of your work and your business, and you can highlight those people and get them to do the heavy lifting for you, your life's going to become a lot easier. There's so many little nuances to doing this well that we can teach you if you ever decide to join the Unlimited Barber Mentorship. And last but not least, Number 5, we'll keep this one short and sweet. It's a thing called joint ventures, which is essentially leveraging, other businesses in your local area where your ideal clients also spend their time and money. So it's identifying, okay, where do most of my clients spend their time and money? What other businesses in my local area have a similar purpose, similar mission, similar values to me, and kind of looking for that kind of crossover in the middle. So for a lot of barbershops, it could be a gym, for example. Let's just talk about a gym or a coffee shop. Whoever goes to that gym might get like a 10% off their first haircut or whatever it is, right? There's like a way where it's mutually beneficial for both parties, for the gym's clients and for the clients of the barbershop. That's a good way as well if all the other stuff doesn't work, or if you want to take things to scale and you want to start opening multiple shops. This is a good way of targeting new audiences, tapping into each other's email database, communicating through each other's Instagram pages, cross promotion, cross tagging, all that kind of stuff. It just, again, spreads the butterfly effect out to many, many more people that could be potential clients for you.
And I love the business side of things, but also don't shy away from leveraging other local heroes in your area. This was a magic thing that worked for me when I was working in the salon world. And again, before social media was a thing, I'm talking, 10 plus years ago, when I was in the hairdressing days, I cut someone's hair, it was the president of the local golf club, right? Immediately, I'm thinking money, I'm thinking retired middle-aged women, I'm thinking, great, these are dream clients because they're not overly fussy and they just want to spend their money on high quality stuff. So I cut this client's hair, she was president of the golf club, and then she told one person, and that person came in, and I thought, damn, that was a great client. They no problem with the price, great haircut, all this kind of stuff, left with a couple of products, brilliant. Next thing, another one comes in. Oh yeah, so-and-so told me about you. Oh, great. And then I started to notice a theme. The first original lady came back in. I said, hey, how about we strike a deal here? This was like a little JV before I knew what JVs were. It's like, if you keep recommending people to me and they come and pay and they rebook appointments, I'll give you free product of your choice every time you come in and get a haircut. And she was like, brilliant. Yeah, of course. She was like, well, I'll tell everybody about you. So next thing you know, I would say 50% of my column was filled with all of these women who were retired, had loads of money, were business owners with their husbands at certain points because that was part of that kind of generation, that like family run businesses. It was great. And I struck a deal. That was like a JV. And that happened for, I reckon, we were doing that for about 2 years. I remember there's a hair oil that she really liked. Every time she came in, she got the haircut. She paid full price for the haircut and came up with my price point. But every time I'd say, thanks for sending me the new clients. Here's your product. Is it still the right one? Good. I just looked after them. And that was like a local hero JV, and this is the power of this stuff. We're talking about trust. A trusted voice goes a long way, especially when that person has status and influence within a local society. That can be your best friend. Mm-hmm. Like that'd be huge for growing a business.
Yeah, but make sure you think about this stuff. Don't be just giving shit out to people that aren't going to help you, because we see that happen a lot too, right? So make sure that you're targeting the right people.
I'll just caveat that was the only person I did it with.
Yeah, that's important.
That's important to caveat.
That's an important part. Yeah,
but that one person, that's all I needed. So information is all well and good, but if it's not implemented, then it's just entertainment. Our advice from here is to go and put some of this stuff in practice, plug and play, put it into your business, and we can almost guarantee that it's going to make you more money, attract dream clients, and help you to live the life that you really want to live.
We got plenty more videos and content just like this.
If you want some more tips and tricks on how to keep building your barber business in 2025, head over, have a look at our other content.
Just click on the channel, subscribe, like the video.
And if you need more help, please reach out to us via DM or email. Stay tuned for the next video.
And we'll see you on the next one.